I have been watching and listening to your YouTube and podcast for a while now, and I'm always impressed with some of the advice that people share in the comments. There are a lot of negative comments from people, but those that give constructive criticism and advice should really be taken serious. My story is also about a Thai girl that I met and how I was stupid and reckless with the whole situation, which could have easily been avoided. I have found myself in a situation that I can't find an easy way out of, and by the looks of things, it can only go one way, and that way is bad. Now, before you listen to my story, just know that I am not looking for sympathy, and I know that everything I have done is my fault. I have been dishonest, unfaithful, and some may say I deserve what I am going through, and I totally understand that. I would fully understand that type of feedback, because it's me that got myself into this mess. So, let's begin with what I do. I am an engineer that works in Bangkok. I stay in Thailand for about 10 months of the year, with the other 2 months spent at home. I am currently married in my country, and my problems begin with me having an affair on my wife while I am in Bangkok, leading to disastrous results. I have always stayed faithful to my wife, that I do love with all my heart, but being alone in Thailand, I lost my willpower. I will refer to the Thai girl I am having an affair with as my girlfriend or Nok in this story. So, how did I go from being a faithful, hard-working husband to meeting this young, single Thai girl? I met Nok on a regretful night while I was out with work friends. We do not go to places like Nana Plaza or Soy Cowboy when we go out, just some normal bars with no bar girls. It's mainly just customers having a drink, and most of them are foreigners. I have been to all them places that I just mentioned before, but I had never taken a girl. It's just not the type of scene for me. Anyway, at one stage in the night out with my friends, I went next door to 7-Eleven to buy some smokes. The 7-Eleven was next door to the bar, so I stood outside while having one of the smokes. Nok, who I did not know at the time, came over and asked for a lighter. She was already in the bar with some of her friends. She was a cute little thing to look at, but now I know that looks may be deceiving. We got chatting, and one thing led to another. We ended up exchanging phone numbers. This happened to be the biggest mistake of my life, and how I wish I could go back and not give her my number. Since that day, we have been meeting and formed some type of relationship, which has been a roller coaster ride from the get-go. It was okay in the first couple of weeks, going out dating and her being in a good mood all of the time. It was just a casual relationship, meeting up when both of us was free from work and had nothing to do. Casual dating and casual fun. That is how I wanted to keep it. Quickly, her mood would change and she would become very demanding, to which, if I did not give in to her demands, she would go absolutely crazy at me. She wanted to see me more and more throughout the week, and even though I would refuse at first, eventually I'd give in and meet her. It is mad the effect she had on me. I completely lost my backbone with her and did not stand up for myself. This was not like me at all. I have never been the type of person to let someone walk all over me, but I was completely under her little finger. Thai girls really can have this effect on people. She would start coming to my apartment early in the relationship, bringing a few pieces of things such as clothes and toiletries and leaving them here. She would start showing up unannounced after work and then spending the night at my place. I did not think too much of it at first, but sooner or later she had moved in with me, and this was very early on in the relationship, maybe like 3 weeks into it. She never asked if she could move in, nor did we ever discuss it. She just made herself at home and never left. A little bit of background about Nok. As far as I know, she does not work in the entertainment type of work. She is not a bar girl, so she says. She claims to be a cashier at a normal bar. I have visited her working there before, and it's just a bar that has more Thai customers than foreigners. It's actually a decent bar for the locals, and I think I was the only Farang in there the times that I visited. She comes from a very poor background, but has stated she would never resort to any work that a lot of Thai girls do in the tourist nightlife area. I have cleaned that up so you can read it on YouTube, but hopefully the listeners know what type of work I am referring to. She is very controlling with me, and up until now, she did not know about my life back home with my wife. She did not know that eventually I would probably leave Thailand and go back home. Our relationship has just been a complete headache, and I should have never messaged her after meeting her outside the 7-Eleven. I can't put it into words how much I regret going to buy smokes that night. But like I said at the start of my story, it's nobody else's fault but my own. Although 90% of our relationship has been rocky, I must admit that she does take good care of me and does everything around the apartment. That's the good thing about Thai women. They can be very caring and know how to look after you. It's just that they can flip out at any minute over the smallest things. One minute she is all happy and in love. The next minute she's fighting with me, claiming that I have multiple women on the go, which is not true. When we go to restaurants, the mall, or anywhere public, she will be watching me like a hawk to see if I am looking at other women. One time, I smiled at the waitress after ordering food, and she started asking me, why am I smiling at her like that? Do I like her? Would I rather have her? It was insane. She has completely taken over my life. I even enjoy my work a lot more now because it means I can be away from her. The 8 hours that I work is like heaven to me. I will even say that my phone has died just so I don't have to talk with her. Even when I want to go out with friends, which is very rare, she will tell me if I'm allowed or not. And if I'm allowed, she will even say what I should or should not wear. I have never met anyone as suspicious, possessive, controlling, and manipulating than her. All reasonable thinking and logic left my brain once I met her. The signs were there early that this would be a toxic relationship, but I still went ahead with it. She sucked me in with her cute and innocent demeanour during the first week, and then just completely changed. One time, during one of Nok's morning crazy tantrums, I went to work and returned to discover that she had been through all my personal belongings, my laptop, emails, messages, photos, my phones, everything. She discovered that I am married back home, have a wife and family that I take care of, and that we are still together in a happy marriage. She now knew more about me than I knew about myself, and she has threatened me several times to use this information against me and contact my wife. How she got my passwords to all my stuff, I'll never know. She is sneaky beyond words. My life is now in her hands. I have been completely exposed, and I'm open to several forms of attack, which again is completely my fault. I am not sure what possessed her to go through my belongings. Maybe the thought of losing me eventually. I'm not sure. But this shows the type of woman I am dealing with. I dread to think the lengths she will go to ruin my life. I wouldn't put anything past her. She is ready and willing to inflict maximum damage on me when the time is right for her. Here is another part of my story. My contract in Bangkok ends in 1 year, and there is a big chance I will be moving back to my country within the same company, doing the same thing back home that I do in Bangkok. There is still a chance that my contract gets renewed here in Bangkok, but it's not likely. Anyway, Nok knows this, but she lives in a fairy tale, and she believes that we will stay in touch and be completely in love with each other, even though I'm back home. In her head, we are in a perfect relationship. She does not see anything wrong with it or her actions. This is all normal to her. Even though she knows I have a wife back home, this doesn't seem to faze her in the slightest. Believe it or not, and it might not seem like I do, but I really do want to live an honest life with my family once I am back home. Even though I have been an unfaithful husband, the thought of leaving my wife or getting a divorce has never crossed my mind, nor is it something I ever plan on doing. I am constantly lying to them, and I think a big part of me is with Nok because I don't want her to expose me to them and ruin our family. If I leave Nok now and just break everything off with her, I know that wouldn't be the end of it. I just know she would do whatever she can to ruin me. On the other hand, I also know that I am being a coward by continuing this relationship with Nok and lying to my wife. No matter what I do, it's going to be the wrong choice, and I'll be hurting someone along the way. But I really don't know what else I can do right now. Nok really has me eating out of her hand. Every time she flies into one of her rages, she will threaten to go to my family, my work, social media, and whatever else she can do to expose me. The thing is, when me and Nok first got together, my wife actually caught me somehow and found out about Nok. To this day, I don't know how my wife found out. I tried to keep it as private as possible, but she still managed to find it out. After pleading with my wife and explaining that I have only met her a couple of days ago, which was actually true, she gave me the benefit of the doubt. It was not easy convincing her to give me another chance. She did talk about her doing the same and meeting other men. She gave me the whole speech about, I'm not the only one that is alone. She is alone too, which is 100% true, and I can't argue with that. In the end, she gave me another chance, but told me that if I were to do it again, then she would leave me and not take me back. I promised my wife that there will be no more Nok, and I just missed my wife, so I wasn't thinking straight. I think part of that was actually true, and not an excuse. I think I missed my wife too much that I tried to find what we had in someone else. Being alone and away from your other half, it's easy to start looking what you long for from somebody else. Or maybe I am just making excuses for myself. I don't know. After my wife giving me another chance, she thought Knock was long gone from my life. Unfortunately, that was not the case. She believed that Knock had left me alone, but this is far from the truth, and I live with that guilt every day, yet I still carry on. I should have broke it off with Knock there and then, as soon as I told my wife there would be no more. Stupidly, I did not. Just to be clear, I have no romantic feelings for Knock whatsoever. There is nothing there on my side, and I just wish I could get her out of my life. To be honest, I don't think there ever was any feelings. I think I was just a man that craved a bit of female attention, and Knock showed me that attention. I have recently tried to leave Knock and told her that she has to move out because things do not look good for our future. But of course, she twisted my arm and brought up all the information she has found out about me. She has literally said that if I were to break it off with her, then she would contact my wife and tell her what has been happening. Knock is actually unaware that my wife had already found out about her once before. It's like I have no choice than to be with this woman. I literally cannot leave without the risk of losing everything, from my family to my job. I do think if my wife did find out that I had been unfaithful again, hearing it from Knock and not me, she would not give me any more chances. This nightmare has been going on for about a year now, with everything slowly falling apart, both in my personal life and my health. Again, I am not looking for sympathy. I was the one that decided to do the dirty on my wife and go behind her back. I need to face the consequences, and I don't blame anyone but myself. My job is currently not flexible. I have to stay in Bangkok for at least one more year before I can return home. I can't just up and leave Thailand because I will lose my very well-paying job that I support my family back home with. A job like this does not come by every day, and you have to be a skilled worker to do my type of work. But even so, it's not like that if I go home, all my problems are gone. She is still going to be there online, interfering in my life, and I know without a shadow of a doubt she will do everything she can to make my life hell. I don't want to lose my family or my job, and I know it will be Knock's goal to make that happen. I just know how her mind works. I wish I could just sit her down, talk to her like an adult, and explain to her why this isn't working and that we need to stop. But that is just impossible. She wouldn't listen, and she will carry on pretending that we have a serious, loving relationship. I have told only a few friends about my situation, and they have said I should record evidence of her. I should record evidence of her behaviour and go to the police. They said that the police probably hear stories like this all the time and would actually help me out, especially if I paid. But going to the police is something I do not want to do. I don't want to provoke her even more. If I went to the police about her, she would come back at me 100 times harder. And even if they went to talk to her and tell her to stop and stay away from me, I doubt she would listen, and it would just add fuel to the fire for her to continue. She will think that because I went to the police about her, She needs to get her revenge on me. She has all the information and proof she needs to get some serious revenge on me if she wishes. Really, I am in a lose-lose situation. I can't see much of a way out. If I leave Knock, she will ruin my family, my job, and most probably, my life. If I stay with Knock, I lose my wife, who I love a lot. I know me saying that I love my wife a lot, people might say, well, if that's true, then I wouldn't have done what I did with Knock. But it's the truth. I do love my wife. I just made a huge mistake. I already know what I want. I want to break it off with Knock, get as far away as possible from her, and never hear from her again. I want us both to forget that we ever happened and put it in the past. That's just wishful thinking. I know it can't be easy as that. Ultimately, I am exploring options on how I can go home earlier without telling her, but still be able to work for the same company. If I do find a way to go home earlier, I plan on telling my wife everything before Knock does. At least then, hopefully, I can retain a little trust with my wife. The only bad side to that is, if I told my wife everything that has happened, she could leave me, and to be honest, she has every right to do so. She has already forgiven me once and gave me another chance. There is a big chance that she wouldn't do that again. But I think that is my only option. I would rather it be me that tells her and not Knock. Then there is the other side. What if I tell my wife and in the end it turns out Knock was completely bluffing and never contacts my wife? I would have dropped myself in it and ruined the relationship. But I guess if that did happen, then at least I would have come clean to my wife. I can't take another year of this. I really need to get home. It will take time. I will be constantly looking over my shoulder and waiting for Knock to strike, but that's what I need to face. I mean, once I leave, what has she got to lose? She has already lost me, so she will do whatever she can to ruin me. I really would love it if Knock was bluffing about doing anything, and she would just move on to the next guy when I leave. I can only hope for that. I guess I'm sharing my story for some advice, but mainly a warning to others that cheating on a loved one just because you are not physically with them is a bad thing, and it can end in tears. I will submit a part 2 if anything else happens in my life, but for now, this is where I am at. I know I have been stupid, unfaithful, and deserve to be in this situation, but I am still welcoming all advice or stories from anyone else that has been in a similar situation. Thank you all for listening.